liquor store out here that I.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome. Saturday morning, we get these Saturday morning cartoons out there, then we hop on casual conversations with the homies. I'm, me, Ray Mir, him, Guru, Tito. We're all in the house. What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
What up?
Pretty good, pretty good. Go ahead, Tito. How you been doing?
I've been good, man. Experiencing a little gout
Mm.
flare up on my knee right now, but I'm hanging in there. Was ready for the weekend, man, just to like chill. Got some exciting sporting events to talk to you guys about, so looking forward to it.
Yeah. What's up with you, Guru?
Just trying to keep my nose clean, and uh, relax. Give people some good sports information. How about yourself?
I've been good, man. Hanging out, chilling, working. Um, I've been since last Saturday. You know how that project I said I was gonna shoot. It was shot at like a park, so it was out in the open. It was cool. But that was my first time being outside on the weekend, probably since like COVID started. So ever since then, I just been outside walking for like 3 miles a day, just trying to get outside because I realized how much I miss being outside. So
Was there hella people out there, man?
at the park last week, yeah, it was. It was like we was in our little, we had our set part by one basketball court, and then like every other it was in Berkeley, so all the other parks areas was like filled. So you know, people had on their masks, some people didn't. I don't know. It's it's good to see the numbers going down. Hopefully, we can keep them down so we can kind of get back to normal life, which I think is it's coming quite soon actually. But all right, so yeah, so we're gonna talk some NBA talk. Whatever NBA subjects we have on our mind, we're gonna just throw them out there because it's All Star Weekend, and a lot of things. A lot of talk during All Star Weekend. Blake Griffin got cut. A lot of different things. We got some NFL talk. We got some free agency moves. We got one subject that we didn't hit on that I want to revisit, and he just got cut this week, and that's the Washington football team and Alex Smith. I don't know, Tito, if he wasn't trying not to talk about this on purpose, but I'm pretty sure he was aware of some comments Alex Smith made. And to me, I thought they
Yep.
were like, of course, Alex Smith, but we'll get into that later. Some other news. Maybe we would talk about some, baseball and just random other facts after that. And then last but not least, we're gonna get into the UFC Supercard tonight. 3 belts are being defended. Um, yeah, it's going to be a good one. So NBA talk. It's NBA All-Star Weekend. Giannis and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant back in his first season is showing people why he's one of the greatest players in the world. He's a team captain. They chose their teams. It's all set. But the story that came out of that All-Star draft was that the team with the best record, the Utah Jazz, 2 All-Stars got picked last. And I thought LeBron's comments about how nobody just picks the Jazz and nobody looks at them I thought it was 100% valid to where I would see how those guys would get picked last. But go ahead, Guru. How you feel about that?
I mean, hey, the Jazz aren't going to get any respect until it's time to get respect. And so, with the season moving forward after the All-Star break, I just feel like that's just only going to be fuel for them moving forward into the playoffs, and they're not going to forget that. So, I like the way this is going to play out.
Tito?
I'm gonna, you know, I agree that it's gonna fuel them internally. But I'm gonna go back to what we said last show, right? Like it's the regular season, like nobody is, in my opinion, like really taking it all that serious. Like they're not going super super hard. They all have this mentality of wait till the playoffs start. We're gonna flip a switch or whatnot. Everybody got to be careful though because Utah is playing good basketball. They are. They could surprise some people. If Conley's shot would have went in, in the bubble, it could have been a whole different
Mm-hmm.
story. Gobert seems to be back to being the defensive monster that he is. I mean, it's the All Star game. Somebody has to be picked last. I mean, every year we kind of hear it like, I was the last pick. I'm going to go out there and show up. At the same time, I mean, you have people dropping out too. I mean, I know that Booker got hurt, but it's like we talked about how Booker got disrespected because he didn't get it. Then he's replacing AD for injury. Then now he's
Yeah,
being
by
replaced.
Mike
It's like,
Conley, of all people.
yeah. But yeah, but it's just like, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be a high scoring affair. Nobody's really going to play defense until like the last minute, just like our All Star game. But I mean, Utah's playing well. Every year, I mean, the West is still dominant. They got all the teams, that I think can make some noise. But how serious are players actually taking the season?
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. All Star game, like I think you guys hit it both on the point. I mean, nail on the head. Just the regular season, nobody really cares. It might feel them, but it's not a big issue. Like we talked about how Dame wasn't starting, and it's like the All Star game is not that serious. What else about to say? But we'll see. I don't even think they're gonna play hard throughout none of the game. I feel like they don't want to play. How is the atmosphere? Is it gonna be fans there or no fans?
I don't even know. I mean, what city is it in?
I didn't know it was All Star Weekend until Thursday. I'm like, man, is basketball even happening right now?
Depends on what city it is. I mean, I would anticipate that there not be any fans, but I mean, you never know. I mean, part of me wants to think it's probably in Chicago or something. I don't think they have fans there, but
Yeah, to me, you gotta have fans at All
yeah, I
Star.
mean, depending.
What's the point of playing if there's no fans? All
Yeah.
right, another NBA news because I want to get your MVP votes later, but before that, Blake Griffin he agreed to a buyout from the Detroit Pistons. His career wasn't going nowhere with that team. What do you guys think is next for Blake? Is his career kind of like on the back end and it's over, or do you see him going to a good team and changing his NBA career? You up first, Guru. No, did I go with? Go ahead, Guru.
Well, I mean, you can go many different ways with this with Blake Griffin because anytime what a fall from grace for a player who was projected to be one of those special ones, and for him to be at this point in his career where you have to have a buyout, it's not a good sign. What it says is he's not a leader. He's someone that has some probably issues off the court. And what kind of asset is he going to be to a contender? Listen, this man is not on a team for a reason. So all of a sudden he's going to go to a team and somehow make them better or give them a playoff run. You can't turn it off and on. You have to be ready all the time. And I just don't know what teams would be getting if they select Blake Griffin. Maybe if it was me, I wouldn't pick him up. I'm setting him out the season,
Wow.
and then see how hungry he is. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of him. Tired of everything that I'm hearing about him. His attitude. Um, he has a reputation of being lackluster at times, and he has a lot of talent. And if he's not going to play up to his capabilities, I don't see how anyone can have any.
Tito.
Yeah, man. Guru. Very I like it, man. I like it. Um, I mean, Blake Griffin, I don't know if he's gonna rejuvenize his career. It's how healthy can he stay? Like every year he's always getting hurt. The one thing that he has going for him though is he has gotten paid. I believe he's had two max deals. Has definitely made more than enough on there, so it makes sense for the buyout. He's gonna land on a contender. I mean, everybody wants to, end with a ring. Everybody wants to win it all. That's definitely the driving force here. So he's gonna land with a contender. If one of these contenders says, "Hey, he's gonna come in here and could potentially add value to my second unit," then it's a no-brainer, in my opinion. Like to add him to be a starter or play crunch time minutes, I wouldn't. It's like I really would just put him if you're a team that's rolling like 8, 9 deep, and you want to add that 10th or 11th guy, then definitely pick him up. But to kind of piggyback a little bit off of Guru, I kind of worry if that's the type of player that he is. I mean, you do hear these stories of that he isn't as motivated as most players out there. So you add that person to the mix. I mean, is he really all that? Like, is he going to change all that much? But he'll land on a contender. I think that there's better buyout candidates out there for some of these bigger teams. I'm looking. I'm going to put my chips in the Lakers corner and hoping they can they can solidify what they're doing. But we'll see. We'll see. I think he will land on a contender.
Yeah, I mean, I hear. To me, one thing about Blake Griffin's career and where it always goes sour, and I say this about any sports player on any sports. I say about any when you stop focusing on what you do and what your life is. I think your career kind of tanks a little bit. Like Blake Griffin, he's a good talent, a good guy, but these stories have come out, and then we all know famously that he wants to be a comedian. He wants to be a comedian. He went hard at studying at being a comedian and being in movies and being a part of that type of things, but he didn't master his playing field first. Like I'm not against like guys stepping out, but every single time you see it, Chad Ochocinco, I forgot who else I said. Even with Juju Smith-Schuster a little bit, Blake Griffin, Travis Kelce at one time. But remember, Travis Kelce was trying to be a celebrity. He was on the VH1 show. His stats went down and he stopped it, and then he went back to his, what he's supposed to do. So if Blake Griffin want to turn his career around, he has to really focus on basketball again. Like Detroit is a bad team, but then you played bad as well. He has some injury problems as well, but have those stories come out about him not working as hard or just trying to, just lollygagging, trying to have fun, which he seems like he wanted to be like a lightheaded jokester type of person, which is nothing wrong. But to me, you have to master your area first that you're in. Like Jordan did Space Jam, but he was already like one of the greatest of all time. The same thing with people do that. But Blake Griffin, he didn't.
The greatest.
Yeah. I'll give it to him. But I'm saying, you got to concentrate. Dang it, I had a good example too to that. I just thought about it and I just forgot it. Oh, it's killing me. Who was I gonna say? Because I was gonna talk about how. Man, sometimes when you're in your sport, I think you have to master it. That's like when Kobe Bryant got the opportunity to be in He Got Game, and he turned her down because he wanted to spend the summer practicing his basketball. I'm not saying Ray Allen didn't turn out to a great player, but he ain't greater than Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like Kobe, at the tail end of his career, after he got those accolades and his job was finished, then he started stepping out to everything else. But a lot of these guys, I think I'm a fan of if you master your area first, if you master it and really become one of the higher ends in what you do, then you can get the respect to step out anywhere else. But if you're teetering, you don't become the master in your area, you're not going to master nothing else, and then your life and that career is going to tank a little bit. And I think that's what's happening with Blake Griffin. But let's talk teams he might go to, and I'll go first because I sent a tweet out, so I'm just going to read my tweet, and I'll explain my teams I put. I put Blake Griffin's a free agent. Where will he go? I say he might go to the Trailblazers because the Trailblazers, I don't know, I think Dame can play with anybody. They kind of specialize in like getting these guys who used to be okay and try to make like a rag team together. And then also on my 2K, I traded for Blake Griffin, and then we went like 72 and 10. on Hall of Fame mode, so that's why I think it'll work. Brooklyn Nets, that's an easy one. DeAndre Jordan's already on that team. This is a contender team. He has like Tito says, he has his money. Why not just go try to just get an easy one, which I think he'll be fine with. The 76ers, Doc Rivers, his old coach, the only person who got him to play good for a long time. So the 76ers, and that's also a contender type team as well. To me, if Doc Rivers, is David Voss on the show right now? Is David in here? No, he's not.
I don't think.
Dang, because he said that Doc Rivers don't coach and he just have good players. And famously, this 76er team cannot be put together, but they're showing it this season that they're put together well, and I think it's because of Doc Rivers. But anyway, when he comes back, I'll mention it again. The Suns, because Chris Paul is there, the Suns can use him. The Suns is actually a good team right now, and Chris Paul is the only person who brought the best out of Blake Griffin. So why wouldn't you Blake Griffin looked like one of those emotional guys who needs to be picked up time to time. Chris Paul is his buddy.
That's my dark horse right there, man. Yeah. I have a feeling. I was gonna say Tito special right here. I have a feeling he might end up on the Suns. I feel like he's a West Coast type of dude, but I mean I know that he went to Oklahoma and definitely a Midwester, but I have a feeling he might end up with the Suns, man. But all of those teams are no brainers, I mean, he could go to those teams and.
Then I got the Warriors, because he's a big guy. He shoots threes now. The Warriors like that. We have no size on our team. Wiseman is always hurt. Looney is like forever hurt. We can use the size. And last but not least, dark horse team that he may go to, the Clippers.
You go back.
Yeah.
They do need size.
Go ahead, Tito. Even though Guru looking disgusted right now.
Definitely. I mean, I'm not into, I'm not that in tune into social media, but I know that, there was definitely, when he was with the Clippers, there was definitely a very prominent, significant other that I believe certain team members or certain members of certain teams that you've mentioned that were entangled, Joel. So I don't know how much.
Oh, you about the Suns, huh? Dang, they
Suns.
Oh, they asking. Yeah.
The Sixers.
Oh man, he can't go to any of these teams. So either way, he'll be playing with his
Brooklyn. I'm just saying, your boy Harden.
Dang.
But I'm just saying, I'm bringing it to the people. In saying, I don't know how much that that plays into a decision, but there's definitely.
Man, Kendall Jenner can make her own All-Star team. For real, she got all stars.
Oh. Yeah, man. But I mean, he's gonna go to a contender, in my opinion. If not, I mean, like Guru said, I mean, he might just call it. But there's a lot of teams out there. If you like, even though the Suns, man, even though Booker's there, I do think Chris Paul has definitely brought an intangible that their coach Williams values. But I mean, you bring up a lot of good points. He can go to any one of those teams. The thing is he gonna play crunch time minutes for these guys? I wouldn't bet on it, but I think he can definitely make some of these teams bigger, which you're gonna need size in a long series. It's all fun and games, but you playing somebody up to 7 games, those big bodies are gonna wear on you.
Yeah, I hear it. So you telling me, since this would be the first time if he goes to the Nets, I mean not the Nets, the Sixers, the Suns, that he will actually play with his brother again. He like brother, Eskimo brother. Go ahead, Guru.
No,
it's a Saturday morning edition, man.
He'll probably end up in Phoenix. That's the only spot that I'll really give him.
Really, Phoenix?
Yeah, Yeah, because of the Chris Paul factor, like y'all mentioned, people could get something out of him. Who he respected enough to, get on his horse, get something done.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last NBA subject that I want to talk about is the MVP race right now. Who do you got, Tito? You first. NBA MVPs.
I haven't put a lot of thought into this. I mean, I have, I've been watching it avidly. I think I said it last show. Like there's a lot of great basketball being played, but it also feels like they're not playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the season's going, but it's not going. Um, at this point in time, I would actually say LeBron. I think LeBron is playing out of his mind. Is definitely making that team better. I know that he's taking a couple games off. Now that AD is taking his time and get better, big fella. But but I would say LeBron definitely is my front runner. There's other people in the mix though, man. I've been very very impressed with Crybaby Embiid. Or I would say Mr. Emotional Embiid. He seems to be putting it together, man. I don't know if it's Doc. I mean, it could be. I mean, that's the thing. That's the one thing that's changed in Philadelphia, right? They brought somebody in like him, and he's been balling out. But yeah, I mean, those are my two guys that I think are in the conversation and can run with it, in my opinion.
Guru.
Go with LeBron, because listen, the Lakers would not be relevant without him. It wouldn't even be really a conversation. He's the reason that you know they're relevant right now, and that's even with the Anthony Davis, even though he's injured.
I hear y'all take on LeBron, but I kind of feel like that's more of a, as of right now, we're giving it to LeBron for what he did with the Lakers for the past couple of years, or the past year. Like, it's more of a reward he should have won last
Ah,
year. This year, I don't know. To me, it's the same dark horse that I feel like it should be LeBron, but Embiid might be up there because he's playing out of his mind right now, and the Sixers are playing good. Um, nobody's gonna give it to my boy James Harden, but let's know. I'm just saying. I know he went to a new team, but he's been winning games without Kyrie and without Kevin Durant. But I mean, yeah. So
KD.
So I'm not about to talk about that because that's a super team, so it don't matter. But it's one team that people talking about that's relevant right now, and that's the Suns. I think this award should really be a real MVP type award, and Chris Paul should get some votes. I'm not a Chris Paul fan. We all know I'm not saying I don't like him, but he's just not my favorite NBA player. I don't like his antics sometimes, but Father Time is out there balling out. And, he got this team playing up to their potential finally. Like, they were guys full of potential, full of okay potential, but now he got them living up to that potential. LeBron is cool, but AD's been out, and they've been losing too much for me. So LeBron is an important person on his team, but he ain't the most important person to me. Like, he needs that 1-2 punch, like most players. But I wouldn't be mad if he got it though. But we'll see. To me, they should choose this NBA season should choose the MVP after the playoffs, because that's when I really choose my MVP, because the
Yeah,
season is kind of
that's
short
what I
and
forgot to
often,
mention.
and the playoff they should wait, and we should see who do what in the playoffs, and then we can make our decision based off of regular season and playoff. But I guess it's too early. All right, NFL talk. My favorite part of the show, like always. We got some free agency news, or some free agent stories, some contract disputes. J.J. Watt lying, talking about he wanted to go to a contender, and his GM said he brought him in to be like to keep players accountable, like he could somewhat police the locker room, as if they were like a ragtag team of hooligans. They just suck offensively. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later. But I want to talk about a story we didn't talk about last week that I'm kind of upset that the two guys who are so familiar with the DMV area in the Washington football team, we did not mention We didn't mention the comments that Alex
Alex
Smith made. I thought they were out of line. So basically, paraphrasing here, Alex Smith said he felt like he threw a wrench in Washington's plans by coming back, and they didn't really want him to play. Duh. Of course not. What are you thinking, Alex Smith? Of course, I don't think you should feel disrespected or slighted that they didn't have you in their plans to play. Like nobody had you in their plans to play, ever, in the NFL, and you did something amazing when you came back, and that's great to you. But you cannot. I don't think the way the article put it, or whatever what I read and how it was said, I didn't agree with like how he's making it seem like they didn't believe in him. And they didn't want him on the team. Like, they were looking out for your health, man. And, you came back as a miracle. You can't predict miracles. And now that it's like, I don't know. They released him. What do you guys think his future is? What do you feel about his comments? Did the Washington handle his situation right? Tito, this is your team, so I'm going to let you go first. Because I don't know why in the notes, in the pre-texts, you never mentioned it. I caught wind on it like later. Like, wait a minute, he said that. Go ahead, Tito.
I'll tell you, man. Like, I've put some thought into this, and I'm a big Alex Smith fan. Ever since especially after watching his documentary or like his little 30-minute snippet on his comeback with ESPN. But I agree with you in that when I heard these comments, I don't think he said like maybe the article didn't do him justice, but I didn't agree with it because the one question that I had that if I can ever ask him is, did he not play? He played. When he showcased, he was able to play. And yes, somebody out there can say it was out of necessity, right? Like Haskins just sucked. Allen got hurt. But he played. He went through the progression. When he was able to suit up, they put him in a suit. When he was able to play, they played. He got hurt that one time. He still came back and played. So if they didn't really want him, he would have just sat. He would have got, in all honesty, the Dwayne Haskins treatment. You get benched, you act the way that you act, you're not gonna dress. And that's one of those things where it's like, I didn't agree with what he said, but hey, to each their own because he's a quarterback. He heard it. Everybody said, like you said, nobody expected him to play. Nobody expected him to be on a team. Nobody expected him to do what he did, which was amazing by all accounts. So as that quarterback to say, hey, I'm going to defy you. I'm going to push myself. I'm going to prove you wrong. That is the mentality that you should have. And these comments came from that mentality, right? Like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, of course I wasn't. Everybody wrote me off, including my team, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. So maybe that's how he kind of meant it. But but he still got to play, man. Like he still got to show, people out there that he's still a serviceable quarterback. He's not an A quarterback. He's not a B quarterback, but he's definitely a high C, no B, in my opinion.
Go ahead, Guru.
Well, they always say the devil's in the details. Well, the Angels were in the details as far as Alex Smith's contract. And to what he said, as far as not feeling appreciated, he signed a 4-year, $94 million contract after basically pretty much it was a sign and trade deal for Kansas City. Most quarterbacks don't get another pretty much max deal for 4 years and $90-something million. Now this is where the Angels were in the details. $71 million of it was guaranteed, even with injury. And I think Washington wanted to say, hey, you had a pretty catastrophic injury. Take your money. and just sit for us, help us out other ways. But Alex Smith wanted to be stubborn and force the issue, and he did. He did pretty well. He got him in playoff position. So listen, both of them won here in this situation, and I don't think it was necessary for him to do that. But that's the ego of a good quarterback. I know what that's like.
Yeah, I don't like I said, man. To me, it's not like they sat him. Like when it's time for him to play, he played, and he got his burn. Like now he's gonna play for another NFL team, if not go back to the team, because they did right by him. So I don't know if he was trying to, he wanted to build that me against the world type of mentality, but the I almost said the Redskins, but the football team did him pretty justice. And I don't know. To me, I just thought the comments was out of line. He should be thanking the organization. Like I feel like he understands publicly like the Washington team is under like a dumpster fire right now. So
Yep.
I feel like he just wanted to pile on it, and that didn't sit right with me. Like Ron Rivera, to his credit, is a good coach, and he handles his matters okay. Like I didn't like how he did Dwayne Haskins, but then again, Dwayne Haskins shown to be like a kid, and Ron Rivera handled him well. The same thing with Alex Smith. Of course, he wasn't in his plans, but then once you seemed like you were capable of playing, he played you. It's over. To me, you don't even need to say anything. Don't cry about it.
Yeah.
Like, just keep your fight and keep going. Okay, NFL free agency is going to start. Or it already started since J.J. Watt started. Well, they said it starts next week, right? Like more people are going to get cut this week, I think, this upcoming week.
Yeah.
But anyway, J.J. Watt signed for a lot of money. Google, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, it's free agency for the players that are released already. But yeah, technically you're right. The other free agency starts next week.
Yeah. So J.J. Watt was the first big signee. He left the Texans, said he wanted to play for a contender. He wasn't. He said he's in his interview. He wasn't chasing money or anything like that. He had opportunities to go to winning teams, but he went to the Cardinals, and he got paid a lot of guaranteed money for somebody that's old. That's coming off a lot of injuries. A lot of guaranteed money. How do you guys feel about that? I'm gonna let Google go first.
The way I feel about it is he's a fraud. All right, J.J. Watt is a fraud, and he's not a leader. Because for one, if he really wanted, listen, I'm not saying Arizona's at the bottom of the barrel, but they're not Super Bowl ready right now. I will say that they have some nice pieces, but they're not there yet. And listen, this is a guy who had 5.5 sacks the last 5 years on average. What is he going to add to it? What did he add to the Texans except blaming his young players who are younger than him for not who are trying to find their way in this league, and he isn't doing any better. But yet he gets to walk and signs for $23 million guaranteed. I tell you what, Steve Keim is a lousy GM for the Arizona Cardinals, and this is going to be this is going to prove to be a disaster. Because I will say this: this guy has been put on a pedestal. You got 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. I don't even know how you get that. That normally goes to a defensive player who's on his way to a Super Bowl or at least been to one. I don't like it. Steve Keim and that whole front office will be fired after this season. And I just think it was a dud. They bid it against themselves. No one else was going to give him $23 million. And I dared the Denver Broncos to cut Von Miller. And if he gets $23 million, I know Von Miller's licking his chops for Denver to release him. I think it's a horrible signing. J.J. Watt is a fraud, and that's what I have to say on it.
Tito.
Man, Guru's punching today. I like it. Man, these early mornings. All right, let's keep it going, guys. I'm gonna put a little bit of perspective on this signing. I don't like it. I don't like, go to a contender. If you say you're going to go to a contender, it is what it is. He took the money. He definitely took the money. He got paid a handsome reward. But I understand kind of. I mean, I'm not, Arizona. I'm not in the GM realm or anything like that. But you have Jones, right? You still got Chandler Jones. You got Baker as a safety, as a ball hawk, but is definitely up in the box. You just drafted this young kid, Simmons, right? Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker. So you put somebody like JJ Watt in that defense, you're banking on two things. You're banking that he's the leader that everybody thinks he is in the locker room. With trying to build up a young defense, even though Jones, I think Jones has that pedigree for me. So you kind of, like redundancy there. But and you're also banking on the fact that of what JJ Watt used to do. Like get the double team. Like, everybody fear on the offensive line. So you're going to have to pay him attention. So it's going to free up either a Jones, it's going to free up either a Simmons or a Baker to go in and be a force within that box because you have to account for JJ Watt. That's probably why they did this. That's probably their thinking into it. I don't know if it works. I don't know if it pans out. I mean, JJ Watt, for what it's worth, he does show to have a big work ethic, a really good one for that matter. But how long has he stayed healthy? It's his health. His health at this stage in his career has always been an issue. So it's like you have him for 3 or 4 games. Rainier, you said it. Arizona's not a contender. They're not. I'm sorry, but they're not. I mean, they've had exciting games. They've had exciting finishes. They have players that can make some plays, and we saw them on TV a lot, but they're not a contender in my opinion. So I understood why they did it, but I think they vastly overpaid. I think it won't pan out, but it could be wrong because for all the points that I said and understanding why they made the move, maybe they do find something there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For me, what's his name? Steve King. He was on the Herd with Colin Cowherd, and I was just listening to his interview about JJ Watt, and to me, it doesn't make any sense, man. Like, kudos to him to get people going to get veterans to go to Arizona, but his interview was saying he brought JJ Watt in, the whole guy's accountable, and the police, the locker room. To me, it's like the defense on the Arizona Cardinals. They're a good defense. Like they're some outstanding guys. Chandler Jones is cool. Buda Baker, like Patrick Peterson was there he just got cut, but he was there for a long time. You kind of got a good nucleus on the defense. If you want to free him up on one side, what just happened to the cameras? Guru camera is acting weird. Guru. It's alright. He'll be back. Guru, let me know when your camera come back on. Let me see. Is it back on? It's back. It's back. Alright, yeah. So I don't know. To me, JJ Watt had the opportunity to go to Green Bay. He could even take a deal with the Bucks. He could have went to the Steelers to be with both his brothers. And they are more of a contention team. In the NFC West, I don't even think that his head coach, to me, is the real problem. Cliff, he can't even hang with Shanahan, to me, Carroll, or McVay at this point, to where if you want to go somewhere, I don't think Arizona's that spot, but maybe they know something, everybody's going to believe in themselves, so it makes sense. And they were saying that D-Hop did some very convincing, what they call it when you court somebody when they're a sports player. Recruiting, yeah. He did some heavy recruiting to get JJ to Arizona. It's a money move, At the end of the day, just say it's a money move. Don't spin it one way. If you say one thing and you go up against it with doing something else, people are always going to talk about you. Like JJ Watt could have perfectly just been quiet and said he's going to do his free agency. His first time being a free agency, he's just going to do whatever he feels like. But, he tried out there, I'm going to be on a contender team, and we're going to, I want to step with somebody who's, one step away.
He's a liar.
Yeah.
He's a liar.
And so, I don't know. Maybe
He's a fraud.
He's a fraud. Everybody on that team is a fraud. I just seen Kyler Murray with a picture with him and an A's hat on. Like, come on, dog. Like, come on. You can. I get it, but you burned us on that pick, so you don't have to like flaunt it because you're a fraudulent player. But we'll see. Like I'm not hating on J.J. Watt, but I just don't think the Cardinals is like the best team. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's a lot. These guys when they get labeled blue chip players, hard workers. The sky's the limit for those type of players. Wink, wink. But we'll see. What else can we talk about? Dang it, I had something else in my mind.
Hold on, we had the draft. We got to talk about the QB draft, man. This is like really a big deal, right? Because this ties into free agency, and some draft picks are going to be tied. The top half of the draft is going to be tied into trade and free agency.
Go ahead, go on, keep talking.
Well, the Jets, for instance, they're not sold on Sam Darnold, but yet they know that they want to give him away. They're trying to package him in a deal to where they can go ahead and select Utah's BYU's quarterback, Zach, what's his name, Zach
Wilson.
Zach Wilson. That's who they want. The Jets want. Also, talking about Atlanta trading up or trading back to get Justin Fields. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of wiggle room with these picks. Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the number one overall pick. But there's some things going on in between.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. To me, I see it. Trevor Lawrence, number one. I think that's going to happen. I don't think nothing's going to go away from that. The BYU.
Yeah.
It was I seen what's the guy Devontae Smith and the other receiver, they was comparing Tua against him and Mac Jones, and they were like, who would you rather have passing for you? And they both said, oh, easily Mac Jones. But I think if your buddy,
right-handed.
I mean, to me, if Tua's already an NFL top 5 pick, he made his money, he did his thing. If your guy is like struggling on a bubble coming in, and if he's really your teammate, your boy, you're gonna set him up with the solid and say his name, how he's a better passer than Tua, who's already an NFL quarterback. So to me, I don't even think their answers were truthful. I just think they were just doing a solid for their friend, even if they felt that way or not. Like, to me, those guys are stand-up friends for even doing that. They didn't take the bait by saying, Tua. They like, let's not mess with this guy's draft stock. I'm just gonna say Mac all the way. Trey Lance, his team played one game that he didn't play in, and they lost. But Trey Lance is, I don't know, he kind of, to me, he's fitting more of the mold of where the NFL is going with the quarterback position. Like guys who can be a little bit mobile, but who are not mobile first, who throws first. Like you said, Zach Wilson, he's another guy who can run as well.
Let us slide inside.
Yeah, he looks a little bit smaller. And Justin Fields, he's cool too as well. I don't know. Justin Fields, he's a good quarterback. To me, I don't know. I like all these quarterbacks coming out, Guru. Like maybe because you can look at highlights and that's all you see is highlights. But to me,
I've looked at film.
To me, watching, just looking at the film again, I think Trevor Lawrence is the number one. But to me, these other players have something else that Trevor Lawrence doesn't. And it's like it can go either way. Like now, I'm like, dang. Like looking at this guy, like even Mac Jones. Like I like Mac. He kind of reminds me of Joe Burrow just a little bit. Like he looked like to me, he's gonna fall in the best position because he's gonna get drafted late, and it's gonna be more on a better team with better weapons. So he's gonna, to me, I think him or Trey Lance, whatever one of these quarterbacks get drafted later in the rounds, they're going to be set up for more success. And
I think Trey. Yeah.
But yeah, then we got free agent quarterbacks. We got Alex Smith. We got Cam Newton that might be out there. We got Jameis Winston. Which one of those guys? Who else is out there?
Those are the main
Mariota?
ones. Who? Yes, Mariota's out there. Washington's looking at him really, really hard. They're holding their cards close to their chest. But what I'm hearing is Washington really likes Mariota, and that's who they have their eye on. That's a good move. Also, watch out if something happens in Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater will be hot. He can end up in Oakland
Las
in
Vegas.
a trade, or he can end up Oakland, and who else is looking at him?
Las
Someone else
Vegas.
is looking. If he goes to Las Vegas, he'll make John Gruden look like the good coach that he never was.
No,
So
Mike
watch out
Mayock
for-
and John Gruden is on this Derek Carr PR right now. So I think, you know what? Let me talk about the Raiders real fast because Derek Carr has been talked about, and his coaches and GMs has been sticking up for him. But his own brother said he thinks Derek Carr needs to be done with the Raiders at this point and go to a new team. And I might agree with David, but to Derek Carr's offense, like the defense, he hasn't been playing. He didn't play bad this year. I've been saying that. I know 8-8 is not the best record, but our team defense is last. If you have a bottom ranked defense, it's hard to win games, especially late in the season. To where I'm not as mad at Derek Carr. I keep saying we keep losing these games. But this is the first time I'm not mad at Derek Carr. So I'm taking the same sentiment into the offseason. I don't think Carr is the best quarterback. And sometimes as a Raiders fan, I do want him on other teams. But I don't feel like he's that bad of a quarterback in the NFL where it's hard to find quarterbacks.
No, he's not bad.
And John Gruden has a horrible system. People keep talking about he's a quarterback guru, and you'll bring in Teddy Bridgewater, bring in this person, and they'll get John Gruden is horrible. To me, it's more of a testament to how many years Derek Carr has played, and John Gruden allowed the same quarterback to play. To me, John Gruden maybe learned from his mistakes by switching the quarterback out over and over to where he's willing to ride this one out at least for one more year. If we can shore up, we look at all our cap moves and our moves in the last 2 years in the offseason. 85% of those moves, as far as cap space and big money, has gone to the offense. None of it has gone to the defense. If they could just get out their mind that offense, and open their brain up and hey, we need to get some better defensive players because we draft offensive players. Okay, I'm okay with Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs. Even with our subpar rookie wide receivers, I'm okay with them. But when it comes to the defense, we missed it, and it's ever since John Gruden has been there. We haven't hit on one defensive pick since Khalil Mack. None of them.
Number 24? Who's number 24?
That's not a hit.
Abrams.
Abrams.
Abrams. He had a birthday yesterday, and I was on his birthday because I'm on the NFL thing, and I read the comment. I left my comment first. That's a really big hole right there. Everyone who's a Raiders fan is saying, look, we like your energy, but you're very unpolished, very undisciplined. It seemed like about 200 people said the same thing. That spot needs to be addressed because he's a home run hitter, meaning he'll give up the home run.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ramir, in that. And I was going to say what one of our commenters actually said, man. Ill will. They're just that stock, man. I hope, Ramir, you're right in that they want to ride it out. But if the right opportunity is out there, Mayock, Gruden, they're going to make an upgrade. They're always looking for an upgrade. You have to speak highly of the guy because he's still on your squad and he still makes a lot of money. You don't want to flat out piss him off like some of these higher profile quarterbacks that are out there, through different channels saying, I want to leave, if I get traded here or anything like that. I mean, let us fans do the talking for them, which we are. Like, how much car bashing has there been on this show, and
Not that much for me.
out there, So they're trying to hype up that stock. They're trying to still, because if you can't move him, guess what? Even if you upgrade, he's still going to be on your squad. You still need to make sure that he's at least in a right state, a right mind to get something for him or whatnot, But I think you're right. He didn't play bad. I still think there's some decision making. There's some decisions that he can improve. Because he lost. He still has that the uncanny ability to lose football games for
I
them.
know.
With some
I hear
boneheaded
you,
decisions.
and trust me.
Thank you,
I,
Tito.
I think you guys are right. I think you guys are right. But down by 20, more than like more than like what 75% of the games you're in, and you lose 8 games. I'm not that mad, man. If the defense show up and do some stops, like the Raiders lost a lot of games where they scored in less than 3 minutes and the defense couldn't hold, and then we lost the game. We lost 4 games like that. That can be if the defense is somewhat 10% better, we can win more games. I'm not saying Carr is a good greatest quarterback. To me, he's more like what Jose says, middle of a pack. In the NFL, middle of the pack quarterback is okay because finding good quarterbacks is hard. If you got a middle of the pack quarterback out of 14 teams, if he's in the middle, he's in the top 12. I mean, he's in the top 15. But let's just say if he's a top 12, top 15, that's a chance you can make a playoff game with the middle of a pack quarterback. If we can get Deshaun Watson, if we can somehow pull off a Russell Wilson trade, we do it. That's an upgrade. But I'm just saying, I don't know.
Why is that an upgrade though? Why
Because
is
in
that
the
an
NFL,
upgrade?
you got to have an it factor. It's some part of Derek Carr where he will turn the game over or do a stupid play that he shouldn't done. And you're like, come on, man. It's literally the 4th down in the last game in Oakland. Why would you just throw it away? Bro, we need some kind of joy. Like, why would you do that? Like, don't end the game in the end zone the last play. Like, in years and years, 30s for 30s. They're going to say the last game in Oakland was that. That was the last, like, come on, dude. Like, you don't do that. I mean, maybe I went too far with that.
Just be thankful he didn't reach for the pylon because I haven't seen anybody else other than him lose it every single time for a touchback.
So yeah, we'll see, man. The Raiders got to work on defense. We got to start getting some real stars in there, not just getting these C+ players. And I know we brought in what's your tight end's name, Guru, that we brought in.
Jason Witten.
Yeah, we brought in Jason Witten. Yeah, he's done now. But I know we brought him in last year to give our tight ends some accountability. But maybe it worked. Darren Waller's a good player, but I don't know. But we got to get some good free agents. But people don't want to play in Vegas right now because John Gruden kind of stuck in that old mentality. Let's see. He's not a winner. No heart, no balls. Mike Mayock's like bubble butts. He's not drafted anymore, so he don't say that anymore. But yeah, we'll see. What else? Who else is what's some other quarterback talks out there? Yeah, Deshaun Watson, same thing. To me, if the Texans organization just don't get nothing for him, they're just, what's the point of holding on to him? Like, what's the point of holding on to somebody who's not going to be there, who's going to hold out just to prove a point?
Yeah.
At some point, you got to like, man,
think
if you don't want to be here, I'm not about, people want you. I can get some first, and I can start rebuilding my team with actual players who want to be here. I'll do it. I'll pull a trigger. I understand it, but to me, for that organization, for everybody to leave, Matthew, Hopkins, even Watt has some things to say about the ownership. And then when Andre Johnson retired, or when he came out on Twitter and he agreed, like, hey, man, this team and the ownership, this is wild. Like, we don't want to play for him, so I can see how he want to leave. Let the guy go, man. And, I know the owner, he passed away, and they kind of revamping everything there and the culture, so we'll see. But for right now, he was there with that culture, and he don't want to be a part of it. So I say let him out. Like I said last week, Russell Wilson ain't going nowhere, and unless he demands a trade for real.
He should go somewhere.
Yeah. J.J. Watt just came to what's the name? His NFC West just got worse. If J.J. Watt can get those 3 sacks,
He set the bar.
If he get those 3 sacks that he's going to get this year all on Russell Wilson, I can see that happening.
If I'm
I don't know, man.
Campbell,
I mean, there's reports out there. Seattle's already making calls, as they should, right?
Accepting calls. They're not making calls.
Seattle, Schneider, I believe it's the GM Schneider who's in charge of those picks. He's very arrogant. And if you watch some of his interviews, I remember one in particular when the drafting of Russell Wilson, and how they framed that interview was as if Snyder was a genius. Like, you know, we were very fortunate to get Russell Wilson in the third round, and they were just talking about Snyder's acumen as a GM. Well, listen, that is overhyped because if he was that much of a GM and he took that much of a risk, he would have chosen him in the first round, not the third round. You know, and so he has this arrogance, like, listen, I brought everybody here, blah blah blah, and don't want to give Russell the respect of saying, listen, this is how I want things to go a little bit. He needs to be out of there. He will be out of there.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything else NFL related, guys?
Ben Roethlisberger re-signing.
For $14 million?
Yep, with the Steelers. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that actually happened. I mean,
I'm shocked. I'm shocked too.
Yeah, but to me, when you got longevity like that with a team, you know, it's gonna happen.
Well, let's talk about Drew Brees. He took his salary all the way down to 1 point something million, the veteran's minimum. He hasn't retired yet. What do we need to make of that situation? Are they going to let him come back? He's got longevity.
Yep, they are.
I say no. What do you say, Tito?
I don't. I mean, obviously their quarterbacks, you know, they're going to have that ego. You know, we kind of said it with the Alex Smith situation. You know, they act as if, you know, as Drew Brees and Roethlisberger acted at the end of their last game that it was their last game, right? Like you saw the cameras, you saw, you know,
the tears.
Exactly. You know, so, you know, I would want to see them. Like, I don't think they have enough anymore, but we kind of said it with other quarterbacks, right? Like, all it takes is somebody that makes right decisions, or not make boneheaded decisions. And you could have a B quarterback take you to the playoffs and make some noise, you know, because it's like all it takes is you getting in, man. Like, I mean, you know, look at the football team, right? The football team made it in there with a losing record, and they had a puncher's chance. I mean, I know that Saints-Bucks game was okay, but I mean, that Washington team really made some noise against that championship team. You know, like, yes, it was the first playoff game, but I mean, they went out there and it wasn't easy for Tampa Bay. We all know that. So I mean, yeah, bottom line, they still lost. But all it takes is an okay quarterback to make the right decisions when you need him to make them, you know. But I was surprised that they got him. I thought Pittsburgh was definitely getting ready to move on to search for their quarterback. I mean, bringing somebody in like Haskins, you know, that has potential and under the right setting can actually, you know, see what he has left or see what he actually has. But then now you bring in Roethlisberger, where you're gonna go back to kind of what Pittsburgh Steeler football is, and maybe that's good enough for them.
Predictable.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm more intrigued to see what the Broncos do with their quarterback situation. Roethlisberger, he's gonna play. He could have, you know, it just those lifetimers. They're gonna give these guys a chance to do whatever they want. And we all know Pittsburgh has allowed Ben Roethlisberger to do and say whatever he wants. He's one of the worst teammates of all time, but he gets away with it, and nobody ever talks about it. Mike Tomlin and the GM allows it, so this wasn't as a shocker that he, you know, like, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not leaving. And they're like, okay. Like, all right, he's not leaving. Let's just give him the money. So, all right, in other news, Tavon Austin, he tweeted out most exciting football players of all time, and he had a list. And his list is Reggie Bush, and he put himself, Tavon Austin, at number 2, even though I think Steve Slayton was even more. But anyway, he had Reggie Bush, Tavon Austin, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Johnny Manziel, Lamar Jackson, Braxton Miller, Peter Warwick, Michael Vick, Jabril Peppers. Now, let me just say, in a game of college football, a lot of guys has come along and been amazing. But I feel like he's just a younger guy. Like he's like my age, like 2 years younger than I am probably. But he missed a lot of guys in the early '90s.
Yep.
And he didn't have Prime on there. He didn't have Charles Woodson. So
He didn't have Heston. I mean, I'd put Desmond Howard.
no. Did my internet? What was that, Tito? My internet kind of cut off for me a little bit.
I would put Hester,
Mm-hmm.
kick returner for Hester, David Hester.
Devin Hester.
Right?
Devin.
Devin Hester. I would put him up there. Desmond Howard is somebody that I think was definitely electrifying when he did it. I mean, who can forget Slash? Cordell Stewart, right?
Colorado. He had everybody picking him in an NCAA game. Guru, who's your top? Just name me top 10. Just no order. Your top 10 college football players of all time. Like exciting.
College football. I'll just go by for what I've seen. George Rogers. I would say Reggie Bush. I would say Derek Thomas, Barry Sanders, Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, and Tony Rice. Tony Rice of Notre Dame led him to the national championship. And Major Harris.
I don't know who Tony Rice is, but good list, Guru.
Tony Rice was the quarterback for Notre Dame in 1990. Led him to the national title. He went over to Canada to play. He was Slash. He was Slash before Slash and Michael Vick before Michael Vick. They weren't drafting quarterbacks like him at that time, but he was the deal.
Tito, 10 exciting players.
Oh, Charlie Ward. I'm sorry, Charlie Ward. I left him
Yeah.
out.
There you go. Charlie Ward was going to be on my list. I mean, everybody knows him as a New York Knicks point guard. But he won the Heisman Trophy as a quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles. There is, there are some people that on Austin's list. I don't know if it's 10 exactly that come to my mind. But I would put Peter Warwick up there. He's another Seminole that was electrifying. I mean, Reggie Bush. I mean, I'm sorry, but what Reggie Bush did, I agree with that. Like every single time he had you gave it to him on the 5-yard line, he had the potential of breaking it. I wasn't old enough, I would say, but I mean, from tape and everything like that. I mean, Sanders. I got to see him mainly in the NFL, but with Oklahoma State, I know that he was there. I mean, I would put Charles Woodson, what he did, with Michigan. I would put Woodson up there. Desmond Howard, Notre Dame, definitely there. Man, as much as I'm a USC fan, I'll put Vince Young up there. What he did for Texas, as a quarterback.
I don't know, man. He didn't do it. He had that one good year.
No, he was awesome. He was awesome out through his career.
He was cool.
But it's just like, I mean, there was a lot of college football, at least in my era, right? So it's like those 90s, late 90s, early 2000s NCAA football. Definitely, there were some ball players out there that sadly kind of never really panned out in the actual NFL, right? But
yeah,
there's a lot of people there.
I mean, for me, number one of all time, all time for me is Reggie Bush. He was, that was crazy. That was a crazy time in sports right there. And then the rest of them can fall where they at. So I got Reggie Bush. I have Michael Vick on here. I have the Pony Express on my list. Those guys are pretty good.
Oh right, yeah.
They were kind of, I know they like trash the program, or it's not their fault. It's because the NCAA rules are stupid. But the Pony Express is pretty good. Who else? Charles.
You know who was electrifying? You know who was electrifying on the defensive end? LeVar Arrington.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Penn State. And then Taylor, man. Safety.
Sean Taylor.
Yeah, he was
pretty good. Yep, he was. Devin Hester was pretty good. Who else? Who else? Did I used to like? I used to like Michael Crabtree in college. He's a beast. People
Yeah,
don't talk about that, but Michael Crabtree was like one of the
yeah,
best
Yeah.
college receivers of all time.
yeah,
Um,
for sure. Adrian
Deshaun
Peterson.
Jackson. I like Deshaun Jackson. He was electrifying to me when he was healthy. When he's at
Oh
camp,
gosh,
he used
yeah.
to go crazy. Who else? Cordell Stewart. He was good. He was good, but I'm not gonna say he's up there for me. Tim Tebow. I don't. I used to like watch Tim Tebow play. He used to he used to
Okay.
play pretty good in college. He had some good press conferences too. So I'm gonna give it to Tebow. Who else? I got four more I need to pick. Deion Sanders is good, but he's not on my list. I don't know. It's a lot of college. It's a lot of. I'm trying to think of some defensive players who wowed me in college. I guess what's his name? What's that big? What's dude? Tyrann Mathieu. He was one of them before he got suspended from LSU.
The Honey
Yeah,
Badger.
when he was the real Honey Badger, he was pretty good. Um, I guess Jabril Peppers is pretty. Yeah, he's
Jabril.
pretty good. So I give him that. And Sebastian Janikowski was a pretty electrifying kicker. And I'm being a Raider fan, I'm gonna always bring up his college career.
Put a kicker on the
Man,
list.
he
Oh
was
my God.
he was kicking it like from like the grocery store. Like, come on, man. He was a good kicker.
Oh my
And let me
God.
think of one more person. And Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart.
Mm.
All right, UFC is tonight. Go ahead, Tito. Bring us home and give us like your quick picks on the main card if you got it.
Oh yeah. So if you guys, once again, if you guys are regular watchers of the show, pick against me. That's how you make money in the show, you know. But UFC 259, man. I mean, it's labeled the super card because there's three title fights. You got your main event. You got Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blakovic, Blakovic,
Something like that.
Jan.
Yeah.
Um, you
Peter
have you
Yan.
have Izzy as the favorite.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first time. It's the first time that he's fighting at lightweight. I mean, for the belt right off the bat, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think Izzy has the pedigree. I think he's the more technical fighter. I think he can definitely come out there and prove that he's one of the best. You know, obviously they want to build him up to possibly fight John Jones. But you can't sleep on Jan. I think he's more of a grappler. He definitely has that skill, has that strength. He knows how to use his leg kicks. I mean, the way that he won that belt, he just put it to I'm blanking on his name, but he definitely put it to him with leg kicks. But at the same time, he showed power, man. So I think he can shock the world. My my head, if I had money to put on, I would put it on Izzy. But I think Jan can shock the world here, man. He has that knockout power, but I say Izzy's gonna take this one. And that's the main fight. You have the undercard of the co-main event. You have the Lioness, man. To me, the number one pound for pound, the double champ, Amanda Nunes, fighting Megan Anderson. I'm gonna keep it short and simple here, man. I'm gonna say Amanda Nunes. She's
You
come
don't
out
think the
here
reach of Megan's
and
gonna get to her? Megan, that's a big girl. She's like 6 feet.
I just that it is. I mean, I was joking around with a coworker the other day where I was like, if Megan Anderson wins, it's gonna be by the infamous toe eye poke. You guys remember that? Where I think she poked Misha Tate in the eye with her toe off of a head kick, and she got the win. Because it wasn't illegal. But I think Amanda Nunes has power, man. If anything, from what I've saw on Amanda Nunes' training, those calf kicks. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been watching UFC lately, calf kicks have been at the forefront. I mean, there was even like talk in the last UFC fight night of them wanting to make it illegal. That's how Conor McGregor lost, right? Those calf kicks. Just you put your lead leg out there, your has a belt, why he's a champion. But I think it's Sterling time, man. He's put together a couple of fight streaks, and we'll see it there, man.
I don't know. I think Peter Yan might. I think he. I don't know. You know, Aljamain. You know, he
You
could
think
do it.
Jan has the power?
I think he has the power. But his last couple fights that I've seen, he has power. So I don't know. We'll see. And I think Izzy
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. I won't take anything away from him. I just, I want to see Sterling win it. He's been there for a while, right? And he's put together some impressive wins.
Oh wait, he said he can't hear somebody's mic. Who's Mike Tito? Can't hear audio. Oh man, he said your audio dropped.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Guru. I can hear both of y'all. But
Shout out to Clarissa Shields, who is the first lady to hold four belts in women's boxing. She won by unanimous decision last night. Not where she fought, but come this June, she's going to debut in her MMA career. So look forward to that, folks. I'm not sure if you knew that, Tito. I just found that information out just recently.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see though. As far as tonight's fight, I think Izzy. I don't know. Stepping up a weight class and fighting a champion. That's like a big bout to try to do. So we'll see if it's somebody.
Izzy.
Israel Adesanya.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's going to hurt someone tonight. Yeah. I didn't know.
I don't know about
I don't know about her.
I don't know about her.
He can pull it off, but we'll see. I don't know. That's Jan, whatever he calls himself. That's a big dude. That's a big
dude. He's fighting. He's going to have to be careful for sure.
Yeah, did he weigh like that 200 pounds, or did he came in at his regular fight weight?
Like
No. He weighed when Izzy weighed. He weighed in at 200 pounds. I think it was like 200.5.
With a pizza.
Jan weighed in at 205, right at the limit. And I think pretty much Izzy didn't have to cut weight, man. Which sometimes is better than anything, But he has a skill, man. He has a skill. He has reach. He showed power against Whitaker. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I mean, I think Jan has the potential to shock the world. I really do. I know that John Jones, even though he deleted it, I don't know why, went out and Jan for KO. I know that he doesn't like, obviously, UFC is trying to pan out that Izzy versus John Jones fight, but we'll see. You could potentially meet him, ever know, right? When there's bad blood, people know. It'll be interesting. This one's hard for me, man, because I love rooting for that underdogs all the time. I mean, my team is a natural underdog. I mean, they suck, but naturally an underdog. Yeah. The football team, but yeah, man. I mean, I think Izzy can pull it out.
Yeah, we'll see. If Izzy pulls it out, he's one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. But we all know who number one is.
No, we don't.
John Jones is number one. You can't deny that.
He is, man. As a fighter, I'll give it to you. As a fighter, as much as I hate him as just a human being and all of his antics, as a fighter, I'll give it to you. I respect his fight game.
Yeah,
he is a fighter, no doubt. But at the same time, man, go for broke. What's our motto, man?
Go for broke, play
John
the
Jones
players.
hasn't shown us going for broke, man.
Oh, speaking of player and
I mean, he
player,
goes for broke in life, but
yeah. Dang it, I'm trying to think of the company. Is it Overtime? Overtime basketball company. I think it's Overtime. Let's see. They got the new basketball league for the 16-year-olds through 18-year-olds. Have y'all heard about that? It's
I have not.
what
No.
is it called? It's some like yeah, Overtime is like internet thing. Like, they got social media. They talk about like, like just they're like Bleacher Report, but they're creating their own basketball league where 16 to 18-year-olds can have a salary of 100. The ones that forego high school and get straight into basketball, they give they're gonna have like $100,000 base salaries for these kids, and then if they don't go to the next level, so if they don't get drafted, then they give them $100,000 to go to college for their college education.
Nice.
So I think that's cool.
That's what's up.
Oh, Guru, your audio. Okay, there you go, Guru. But yeah, so yeah, Overtime they have this league for 16 to 18-year-old basketball players where they pay them like a six-figure salary, and if they don't get drafted to the NBA, they give them $100,000 to go do their college careers. I think that's good. I think it's all right. We see it with players like Luka and other European players from around the world. They start playing professionally when they turn like 15, 16 as well. When they come to the NBA, they be more prepared and they be stars faster. And I think now, I don't think the NCAA is evil, and I don't think going to college is like wrong. If you want to play for a college team and you want to get that experience, that's something you can't get nowhere else. I get it. You want to do it, that's your thing. But if you want to be in a position where you can accept money, and if some of these college kids, they know basketball is the only thing they're gonna do their whole life. Like Zion knew he was gonna be an NBA player when he was like 15. This league seems like a good thing. Like, you got some professional guys in the U.S. soil. They have the little farm system. Then they go to the NBA, and if they don't go to the NBA, they have the opportunity to go to college. I think it's a win-win. Overtime, doing a good thing. Anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just think that that's a good idea because, as we know, a lot of high school kids today are above high school level basketball or high school level baseball. In the Latin countries, they do it with those kids. So I think that's fantastic. For kids not to get exploited, to be able to get money. We know that there are only a few kids who are able to do this, and those are the ones that should be able to take advantage of it. So I think that's great what they're doing. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's our show. Tito, last words.
Sure. As always, thank you guys. Comments, Ill Will, Jose, much love. Definitely thanks. Catch us on the rewatch. As always, hit us up, man. I know that we kind of stick to our little topics, but if you guys ever want to chat with us, hit us online, social media, everything like that. Comment here. We can definitely chop it up. Sports, anything. I'm a big hockey fan. That's going right now. Soccer, Premier League. But yeah, just everybody stay out there. I know we're California boys. Stuff is kind of opening up.
April 1st,
stay
all
safe
stadiums.
out there, guys. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I mean, there's reports out there that even with baseball, right? Baseball season's just right around the corner. Let's go Dodgers. Houston, you suck.
Yeah.
It definitely is one of those where, I heard, Newsom is thinking that they might even have, fans, limited fans, coming up very, very soon. So,
yeah.
Everything's at the same time. Remember, guys, stay safe. Tell people you love them, and thanks.
All right, Guru.
Yes, thank you for watching. All of you who do watch, if there's anything you feel like we can improve on in the show, things that you'd like us to add, or any suggestions that you feel would make the show better, please feel free to let us know, and don't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah, cool. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next time. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Every time I log into this account, we always get like a couple new subscribers, so that's actually a good feeling. And there's people that we don't know, and there's people that's genuine. They find us doing the search. So shout out to y'all. We'll be back. And yeah, we're out. Peace out.